Okay, Rob, nice to meet you. Like, happy to have you at Hack Seasons. I guess we can start with the questions. Dragonfly emphasizes a global first approach, investing in both Western and Asian markets. How does this international perspective influence your investment strategy and decision making process?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, as you mentioned. Um, Crypto is really a global phenomenon. It's a digital infrastructure that's meant to move money, meant to move value, meant to move information, right? It's borderless. And so when we talk to founders, we want to make sure that they understand that. And we know that for them to build humongous businesses, build humongous protocols, that they have to understand that. They have to be able to meet people where they're at. They have to be able to meet people in Asia, where we're in Singapore right now, and people in Hong Kong, meet people in the US. And so we like to take that holistic viewpoint when we invest in founders, whether it's in Silicon Valley, whether it's in New York, whether it's in Asia. And so the way we talk to those founders and the way we work with them is we try to bring them into all markets. And that's where I think we've really found success, investing in both, founders in the East who like places like Bybit and Matrixport and Amber, but also investing in entrepreneurs in the West, people like Guy from Athena and James from Monad and others, bringing them into this part of the world. And so that's what we've seen be really successful, and we want to continue to further that interaction between the two sides of the world.
Yeah, thanks. With traditional founders increasingly entering the crypto space, what do you believe is driving this shift, and how is Dragonfly positioning itself to engage with this new wave of institutional capital?
Yeah, what we've seen in the U.S. this year has been incredible, right? So we just went through 3 or 4 years of an administration that was not particularly friendly, and I would say at times like openly hostile to crypto. Now, with the new administration, with the new regulation, with Genius Act passing, potentially Clarity Act, we've seen just a green light for all sorts of crypto innovation in the U.S. That, I think, has allowed the rest of the world to also feel comfortable that crypto is going to continue to exist in a real regulated way. And so people who previously were a little bit scared about entering the space, whether they worked at large institutions, like one of our portfolio companies called Perpetuity, the team just left BlackRock to go and do this thing. Those types of people before were concerned about the future of crypto in the US and globally. They no longer are. Now they're excited. They understand that there's tailwinds. And so we're really excited about that next group of talent who are coming in because of that certainty. And I think we're going to see New York, the US continue to be really a center of innovation that can expand globally over time.
Thanks. Dragonfly is doubling down on DeFi infrastructure. What specific aspects of DeFi infrastructure do you find most promising, and how do you foresee their evolution impacting the broader financial ecosystem?
DeFi is, any sort of financial system existing on blockchain rails, it's just better than the traditional system. There's intermediaries that cost a lot of money, they don't allow for transparency, there's a lot of opaqueness, there's extra costs. And so when we look at what's happening in DeFi, whether it's things like hyperliquid and perpetuals and other sort of derivatives, like that allows for a better, more open and transparent trading system, right? Or now we're seeing a lot of RWAs, things like Apollo has a private credit fund called AidCred, where you can with one click take that underlying Apollo fund and you can lever it up on Morpho to 3x, right? And you can do that at $10,000, right? To do that in the traditional world would require a much higher minimum, would require going through risk committees at large banks. And so we're starting to see that traditional world, like what we're seeing in Apollo, or what I talked about earlier with a portfolio of a company of ours called Perpetuity, is bringing equity perpetuals on chain. The traditional world then connecting with DeFi, which is automated, it is transparent, and it has the ability to work programmatically, and bringing those two together makes for a better financial system. So we are really bullish on bringing those two systems together and what that means for the future of capital markets.
Yeah. What emerging trends or technologies in the crypto space is Dragonfly particularly excited about, and how do you plan to position your investments to capitalize on these developments?
We continue to be really excited about the same things that we've kind of always been excited about. So the transfer of value, the transfer of money, the transfer of information, right? That's what blockchains are really good for. So we just talked about DeFi. DeFi continues to be a real focus of ours. Tokenization continues to be a real focus of ours. Payments, stable coins, I think that's consensus now, but we've been investing it long before it was consensus. And just market infrastructure generally of bringing global payment and financial rails onto blockchains, right? That is what we are really excited about. We don't tend to reach for, I think, what the exciting new thing of the day is. Like a lot of what's happening in AI, we find to be what I would call a little less real than the stuff we just talked about. But we want to double down on what is really a remaking of global financial infrastructure.
Yeah, and the last question. What advice would you give to emerging crypto projects seeking investment, and what common pitfalls should they avoid to attract institutional investors like Dragonfly?
The main thing I would tell any new potential founder is to just have a lot of conviction about the space and about how you want to enter the space and how much you really want to commit. If you really want to commit, you're really, really passionate about what you're doing, and you're someone who has a real, what I would call, founder market fit, which that you understand the market you're trying to enter, and because you did something that's analogous before, that's what's most important. The exact idea, the exact way of which you'll enter a market at the earliest of stages, that's going to change, and that doesn't necessarily matter as much. But if I understand that you're a founder that is passionate, that is going to run through walls to get something done, that can bring other people along with you, can inspire people, that's the most important thing. Show us that, and we're interested in talking to you.